All right. Well, hi, Bill. Hi, Leah.
Hello.
I
Welcome to Flash Club. Tonight we are reading, and it's in the chat right now. It is Estranged by Bruce Holland Rogers. He gave us permission and an interview, and I am so excited to read almost all of his stories. He has a ton at Flash Fiction Online. So I would encourage you guys, anybody really, to go and read his stuff because he has a lot of craft lessons on Flash Fiction Online too. And I was like, oh, what is this? He's teaching me stuff too. So not only do we get to read his stories, but then he does some deep dives on craft, which are super worthwhile. All right. So we have an 897 word, 687 words. Wow,
Yes.
that's not many words. Let me just adjust my screen so that I can see it. Should I share my screen? Is that what we did last time? Or no, did we just read?
Oh, we
you
can
don't
do
need,
either. I don't think we did it
yeah,
last time.
Okay, we can just read.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll read Estranged. This was first published in Strange Horizons in September of 2000. Oh my God, that was so 2000. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna divvy us up. Leah, I'm going to give you the last third so you can deliver the flash.
Cool.
Um,
Lucky.
Bill, you get the hinge, which is
Lucky.
Well,
super fun. Let's see. You can start at I next saw her. Is that that's where you're going to start, Bill?
where am I
And then,
stopping?
and then you're going to stop at she was older than that. And Leah, you start at she used to be mine.
Okay.
She used to be mine. I'm gonna have that song in my head all night.
I've already forgotten where I'm starting.
You're starting at
Sorry.
I
uh,
next saw
I
her.
I next
next.
saw her. Got
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing the least amount of work.
No, you did the most amount of work.
You did the most for it. Yeah.
After the divorce, Estranged by Bruce Holland Rogers. After the divorce, my wife said she didn't know who or what she wanted to be. When I heard that she had become a toaster, I felt vindicated. A toaster. Was that all she could be without me? And she wasn't even good at it. She could do only two slices at a time, and they came out charred on one side and white on the other. Obviously, she was the one with the inadequacies. True, I was unemployed myself, but a toaster. I would never fall as low as that. I would take a job as a human being, or I would stay on the dole. Later, she worked as a hotel washing machine, then as a high-capacity dryer until she was demoted. She became one of those laundry hampers with four wheels and a canvas hopper. Finally, she lost even that job. Soon, however, I felt less and less like gloating. I still couldn't find any work at all, no matter how I tried.
I next saw her while on my way to an interview for janitorial work at a hospital. She was in the parking lot, backed into a reserved space, and she was stunning. There was no mistaking her, even with all the changes. She had white sidewalls. Her body was lustrous teal everywhere, but on the inward curving white panels that streaked back from her front wheels, her chrome sparkled in the sun. I just stood there in front of her, searching for something to say, until a man came out of the hospital and walked up to her. Beautiful, isn't she? He said, fitting a key into her door. I restored her, he said, built her up a little from her original 283 small block, gave her some juice. Dual Carter carved. You know cars? Want to see under the hood? His generosity made me uncomfortable. No, I hadn't noticed the plates until now. They said MD. He was a doctor. She's the finest 1960 Corvette on the road, he said, patting her roof affectionately.
She was older than that. but damn if she didn't look 1960. She used to be mine. What? I said she used to be mine. I know something about her history, he said, trying to keep a smile in place. She was mine. She once belonged to me. All the friendliness went out of his face. I don't think so. He opened her door. Sure, just because she's gleaming now, you don't think she could have ever been attached to someone like me. I said nothing of the sort. He got in and closed the door. He started her. The way her engine hummed, I could tell she was getting only the best of everything. He revved her, but he couldn't drive off. I was in the way. I glared. He glared. I looked from his face to the checkered flags of her hood ornament. Those little flags did something to me. This was a side of her I had never imagined. He rolled down the window. Get out of the way, he said. Oh, the sun on her satiny finish, the gleam of her front grille. He raced her engine again, menacingly now, then started to pull forward. He might have run me over, but she stalled out. She still cared, but it was too late for reconciliations. He started her again. I felt all the regret that I had concealed with my gloating. Too late to change anything. I stepped out of their way and let them drive off together. I went in for my interview, and I got the job. I am a mop.
Thank you. You're a mop. So I know that you've both read this story before.
Mm-hmm.
When you came back to it, did you have any fresh thoughts, any new thoughts on it? I just wait, and before you jump right in, I just wanted to say that this one seemed important to me. I think I've been personally like wrestling with reality. So I was like, when I read this again, I was just so happy. I was like, because I was in absurd land, and that made more sense to me than the reality itself. So this is why I chose it. Um, but okay, so now that you've come back to this story, do you have any thoughts about this story and what it's doing?
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I hear a dog
Well,
barking.
well, I can say that it had been a while since we first read it, and I don't think I had the vocabulary at the time. I was still pretty new in my writing journey the first time I saw you you showed me this piece. So, now I'm kind of trying to identify at least the hinge and the flash and those sorts of things and more structure about pieces I read. Maybe
Mhm.
not interpret them so much, but just try to figure out craft structure. So when I read it this time, I was obviously looking for the hinge. And when you assigned my reading portion, you told me I had the hinge, which is totally different than what I thought what the hinge was. But there is this line um, right after she stalled out. She still cared, but it was too late for reconciliations. When I read this piece this afternoon, I was kind of like, is that the hinge? But now I think I'm completely wrong, but that line still stands out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that it is a standout line.
yeah, and I think what I mistaken for the hinge was escalation,
Mm.
emotional escalation in the narrator.
It is a leap.
And
It's a standout line.
yeah, and I think he does a really good job of escalating this piece. I know
Mhm.
you guys have always been mentoring me about building tension, and I think we see that in the dialogue that he has with the doctor, and you can see that it goes from, hey, check out my car, to this
My car.
about to be run over. I'm about to run you over. So I think he does great in just a few lines of building tension like that. And I think maybe that she still cared, but it was too late for reconciliations kind of might be where it sort of peaked for me, the tension.
Mhm.
And while I'm on it, I might as well come back to where we think the hinge is, huh? You said you
Yeah.
gave it to me. And
Well,
I'm thinking,
what I think it is, I have an argument for it.
well, I think if I think about where the piece hinges, and if this line wasn't there, it'd be a totally different piece. It's where, and she was stunning.
I think that's it.
Yeah. That's where the narrator goes from being glad they're divorced and I'm glad I got out of this relationship. And now there's regret starts to build there.
Hmm.
And it peaks with that stalling out, but too late for reconciliations.
Hmm. Leah, what do you think? Do you think that's the hinge?
I think, and the I restored her line keeps jumping out to me. But I think in that area is definitely where the hinge is. I'm just trying to pinpoint exactly where I think it is, but I think it makes sense for it to be his, yeah, his perception of her has changed, and that's when it folds.
Hmm. Yeah, because that's the moment. Because from every moment after, every moment before, she was less than.
She was inadequate.
She was inadequate. She wasn't up to the task. And then every moment after, she is the power has flipped over, I think, to where he is not so gloating anymore. She has the power. Or maybe the guy with the key has the power. I'm unsure about that one.
Yeah, I know. When I first read this piece, maybe like a year or two ago, I loved it, but I was like, wow, it's also so interesting how everyone is very literally objectified.
Everyone. I know that
Like
was the thing.
even fitting a key into her door, I was like, Jesus Christ. I
Yeah. Where's the
restored her.
content warning?
Yeah. Want to see under the hood? What?
Right, because it's possession.
Mhm.
Right. I know that one made me that part made me a little squeamish too when I was
Mhm.
just thinking about how she has like no agency. It's what he thinks of her, and then it's what the doctor thinks of her.
Mhm.
No voice.
Yeah, she has no voice in this.
And then
Uh,
even when she tries to have a voice by stalling out, he just starts her up again and she gives in and leaves.
if that was even truly her voice,
Yeah.
that's just like
True.
his right interpretation, his willful interpretation.
Yep.
Mhm. But
She never
yeah.
goes.
Okay, so The Flash.
He's a mop.
He's a
Yeah.
mom. And that's the
I
thing
mean,
that
he's worse than a toaster.
like
You don't even plug him in.
it's not even electric.
He's not even electric. He's a mop.
Oh, he's probably like stinky.
Yeah.
Nobody hung him upside down. Right, and it's a little bit like a punchline, right? I think this one was interesting. I wrote you guys, I did a thing. Instead of writing my chapters for tomorrow, I wrote a secondary flash for Ron's crime wave.
Oh, did you?
I didn't
Even
enter I didn't enter.
it, isn't it past the date?
Well, it's April 2nd. I called and I sent a message saying, is this a thing? Like, can I enter twice? It doesn't say I can't. Um, but anyway,
Oh,
but I was just like obsessed and I was thinking about the structure of Bruce's piece here and how that last line will collapse everything into kind of one image, right? It kind of just collapses and reframes everything. Um, And so I kind of stole his structure here because I've actually been, since I've been reading Bruce's work, I've been so obsessed with structure. And I've decided that structure is really where it's where the magic is.
Mhm.
I was so close to stealing your structure for my crime wave from your crime wave.
Do it.
Just an FYI.
Do
But
it. I mean,
um,
that's the thing, right?
can you, because I had a sneak peek, can you say what Bruce had to say about structure since you're talking about structure? Because if I remember correctly, there was an interview question about that.
There was an interview question, and let me pull it up.
Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I remember his answers were to all of his questions were pretty,
They
they
were
were
pretty good.
fantastic.
All right.
I might have it here.
Structure is enormously important. If we consider again that fiction is an exercise in theory of mind, then structure is you, the writer, produces an anticipated effect. Jokes often work in a pattern of 3 steps. There are 2 steps that establish a pattern and set up an expectation in the hearer's mind that the pattern is going to be completed by repeating a 3rd time. The joke works by fulfilling and breaking that expectation in the 3rd instance. There are many versions of a 3-part structure to stories. There are many possible structures that guide the reader to the thought experience that the writer intends. After reading something I enjoy, I often go back to identify the structure and think about how it worked. Whether I think abstractly about a story structure while I'm writing or not, structure is always emerging, even in a loose and free experimental draft. It's what makes a story rather than simply one damned thing after another. I was
That
just
was
going
the
to
line.
say is that that's one of the things that I'm realizing with these last few 100 Doors stories is that I'm like writing shit and I'm putting it out there and then I'm looking at it the next day and I'm like, this needs structure. Like there's
I,
one element missing and
yeah,
it's because I think if I went in with that story in mind and a structure in mind, then it would be complete.
I
Hmm.
must be getting like different roles on that middle die than you because I've got like philosophical fragment and backward story, and like some of them are just very defined and very prescribed structures. So
Yeah, I'm
maybe
not
you
getting there.
just wait. You're going
Yeah,
to get those
exactly.
roles. I like that line though. That line where he says it's structure is what makes a story. What is it? Something like not just one damn thing after another. That
Hmm.
was a line that stuck with me.
So speaking of structure, we there's an inversion that happens, right? We notice the power inversion.
Mhm.
She is less than, and then suddenly he is less than, right? So it's like this big swing that goes like this, right? One side to the other, top to bottom. He's on top, then she's on top. And I thought that was really interesting just as a structure. Like this is just a story about a divorced couple and one gets a revenge body,
Yeah.
right? And the other one feels bad. I mean, if we break it down to it's like bare minimum. One gets a revenge body and the other one feels bad about themselves because
Yeah.
they haven't made it. Um, I mean, and that's actually a really interesting way to think about structure too, is just like what is the basic, if I distill this down to nothing, to its studs, what is it? And I think that was a super fun process for me when I thought about this structure and then moved it over into the crime story that I wrote for Ron. Um, for Ron, I say, for the main crime wave flash contest.
This story that you submitted after a phone call. By the way, there's I, I'm gonna I'm gonna call Ron too and just let him know I sent a story as well.
Ron, Ron, Ron has no idea. And I only submitted one. I only submitted one. Um, okay. So, what do you think about the absurd here? What do you think about this? This is an alternate point of view. Mops don't have POVs, cars don't have POVs, toasters don't have POVs,
Toasters don't turn into washing machines. Um,
I
right?
liked it. I thought it functioned for the structure of this. I mean, yeah, and especially with that ending that kind of that collapses all down into I am a mop.
it
Mm.
also
It's
reduces everyone to a profession, which I think is really interesting and useful because then you don't have to worry about the other muddy stuff.
yeah.
Like you don't have to build a full collective of characters because they are just what they do.
I mean, that's really interesting. So he says he'd rather be on he's either going to be a human being and on the
Yeah.
dole, right? So she's
Uh-huh.
been like useful, even though he says she's not of
Hmm.
use. She's been super useful this whole time, even as a toaster. She still worked, even though she kind of charred something on one side. Maybe she wasn't that great at being a toaster, but like our girl like climbed the usefulness ladder.
I do think that's funny that when you look get back at it now, like that line, I would take a job as a human being.
I didn't do a deep dive on that, but it is a really funny line. Like, like,
What?
like, like, what is that? Like, is that part of the absurdity of it?
Uh-huh.
And I think that's like a reach into the absurd,
It's a shot at unemployed people, that's for sure.
right? Like he's kind of saying he doesn't want to do anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? He
Like,
just wants to like exist,
mm-hmm.
I think. I'm not sure that one's
I,
worth a deep
I've
dive.
I've tried to write one thing that was absurd, and it was on the 100-day challenge, and I think I went at it from the wrong angle, trying to make it absurd from the beginning rather than starting with like that core concept, like this revenge body concept, and then hanging like an
Mm.
absurd costume on top of that idea. I think if I had to do another absurd piece, I think this is a good mentor piece or a good strategy way to do it. What is this really about first, and then how do we make it absurd the other way around?
Okay, so let's talk about how quickly he goes into the absurd.
Mm-hmm.
The first sentence? No. After the divorce, my wife said she didn't know who or what she wanted to be. Okay, that's very fair. That's very much reality, right? When I heard
Yeah.
that she'd become a toaster, though, I felt vindicated. A toaster, right? I mean, she and her husband must have been pretty low down on the totem pole if that was her first leap out the door. That's so funny. Um, I've been down in the dumps with some people. I feel like I had to matriculate toaster to washing machine also. So he starts right in here in the non-reality, we'll say. I mean,
Yeah.
first paragraph, second sentence.
But
Um,
what I like is that that first line is so normal, and then it seems like the next line is just the very literal answer to that question. And that's what makes it so absurd. What is she didn't know what who or what she wanted to be. And then like, well, you're a toaster now.
and she wasn't even good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like my writing career. I was not even very good at it for a long time. No, but like when you think about it, you got to start at the bottom,
Yeah.
right? You got to be a toaster and be willing to not do it great.
Work until you're a car.
Bill, you had a great observation about tension, and that was something that I really noticed in this on the way through. That everything, like, it seemed like every sentence there was tension. And I was like, oh, it's a good lesson. So, like, you go through and you note it. Um, like, she worked as a hotel washing machine and then as a high capacity dryer until she was demoted. We're like, oh, yeah, she's not so great. Look at her. Um, and then she became a hamper and she even lost that job.
Yeah.
And then there's even more tension. So, but then he says, soon, however, I felt less and less like gloating. I still couldn't find any work at all, no matter how I tried. And you're kind of like, ooh, all right. I thought somebody might argue that that would be a hinge. And I'd find
Mm.
a harder time like getting my way out of that one. But I decided it's all about her.
Yeah.
So that the hinge must have been she was stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, So then you've got the massive escalation with her. There was no mistaking her, even with all the challenges. And it's like boom, boom, boom. She's like, it's a list of all the things that she is just hubba hubba. And then the narrator comes in. I stood there in front of her searching for something to say until a man came out of the hospital and walked up to her. Ooh, immediate competition, right? And you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay. And anyway, I'm just so impressed. The glared line really cracked me up. I glared. He glared.
He glared.
Yes. Um, she's the finest 1960 Corvette on the road. She was older.
She's older
He
than
was older
that.
than so he corrects her. This is like that great the Grace Paley dialogue, right? Where everything is
Yeah.
like to like top the next one. She used to be mine. What? I said she used to be mine. And then the other guy is like, no, I know something about her history, dude. Um, and you're like, ooh, where's this going? Anyway, the whole way, up until that last line. Um, I went in for the interview and got the job. I'm a mop. And then it just whoom,
Yeah.
brings us down around.
Collapse.
Yeah, collapses. Um, okay. So Finney, authors publish. Do you guys follow Authors Publish or Flash Fiction Magazine?
Yes.
Do you get those?
Authors, I think I get authors published.
Yeah, Shannon from A Thousand Words. Um, is his email address. Anyway, he had a great email. He's got a guest that is Finian Burnett, and Finian Burnett offered up a prompt. And I was like, this is kind of perfect. So we're not going to rip off Bruce Holland Rogers completely. Um, but we're going to keep him in the back of our mind. But um, so one, actually, you're going to make a list just while we're going to stay live, and then we're going to go absurd, and we're going to go from an alternate point of view, and you are going to be a baked good. I would like you to make a list of baked goods in a bakery.
Okay.
Um,
Cornetos?
what?
Said corneto.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. You can be a cornetto, you can be a biscotto, um, I don't know, apple strudel, a
Carrot
piece of
cake.
carrot cake, chocolate mousse, bar, apple strudel, just anything you can think of. Just maybe list a bunch of them. And I'm gonna give us 75 seconds. Okay. Have you got a list? Okay. So now you're gonna take a few minutes and you're gonna look at some of these that you think are interesting, and you're gonna figure out what their problem might be. They have a problem. Maybe your chocolate chip cookie has walnuts in it and it doesn't like walnuts because walnuts are evil. Or, maybe it's your carrot cake that has the walnuts and you're trying to get all of the walnuts out of the carrot cake from inside the carrot cake. Maybe you're maple pecan and only older people like you. Right. I mean, so so this can be like any number of things. So just see if you can give your confection a problem and see if you can just brainstorm like maybe 6 of them. And we're going to take 4 minutes. Okay. Have your confections got problems?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm
Did
so hungry
any did any of them develop a personality?
for
I
sure.
mean, does your apple strudel speak German? Or does I don't know. Um, does your peanut butter bar have to be isolated from all the others? All right, what have you got for problems? Hit me with a couple problems.
Um, the brick of chocolate inside the chocolate croissant won't melt, and so he's yeah, it hurts. It's really heavy. Um, the blueberries on the blueberry cheese Danish keep falling off. The cream puff is exploding. The cream won't stay in. Um, people snarl at me from the other side of the glass because I'm a bran muffin. Yes,
Yeah,
etc.
okay. All right, you've got some something to launch from. All right, Bill, what about you? Have you got any fun problems?
My flaxseed muffin had a similar problem. I have a carrot cake afraid of rabbits. I don't know if you know what gulab jamun is. It's the Indian dough balls that are in a like a sweet syrup. They are have anxiety over xenophobia in their current where they're living. Pizzelles, I don't know if you know what those are. Probably you do, Nina, but they feel like they are too old world with their anise flavor and not
Mm.
modern enough for the young kids. And the tapioca pudding feels like everybody thinks they're just fish eyes.
Mm, I love it. Okay. So I guess that so this next and we're just going to jump right into like maybe 20 minutes. And so what I want you to think about is I want you to think about giving it feelings and giving it a personality. And so you're going straight into the absurd world.
Just one.
I mean, they can be a battle in the bakery case. I have a little battle, and I have the blueberry pies on one side and the red berry pies on the other, and they won't meet in the middle.
That sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that was one of my problems. So I mean, I think it can be like a melee in the bakery case.
Cool.
Remember the rules of Flash Club?
There are no rules.
Okay.
All
So
right.
let's just do a long write. Everybody can get a jump on their daily challenge. And we'll see you back here at 8:55.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, come on back and tell me. I have to say, like, I did this prompt earlier this week, just as like a brain clearing exercise before I was getting into my chapter. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting because as soon as I was in the non-reality, I instantly was able to uh tackle reality
Hmm.
within the metaphor.
hmm.
And then I did it again, and I was just wondering what was your experience? Like, what's going on in your stories? No.
Mine's not my best
Wasn't like
work,
that.
but what you're saying, one thing, what's interesting about what you're saying that came to my mind when you said that was kind of how our subconscious sort of works sometimes. Like how maybe dreams kind of solve problems, or your subconscious can solve problems in a very absurd, abstract sort of way, which
Right.
I kind of like I made that connection when you were saying that. About what I just did was pretty, I don't know. I The story I'm trying to tell is my 80-year-old dad trying to use an iPhone, but I told it through the Pizzelles. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but they are feeling left behind and they are convinced it's because of this protein kick. And so they start trying to put a series of ridiculous ingredients into their batter to make them
Mm.
higher protein and more hip. And the ossobuco doesn't work because veal is too cost prohibitive, and the tagliati di manzo, it turned the waffles red, and they need them white for Easter. They tried calamari, but they couldn't source it. They tried sardines, but it gave the waffles like the little bones gave the waffles a little 5 o'clock shadow. And eventually they landed on their new creation, which is going to drop tomorrow, pizzelles and queso.
Oh, pizzelles and queso.
Yeah.
That means
So the
anything.
trick, you don't put the protein in it, you dip it in the protein. So my whole thing was like, it had nothing to do with taste. They were totally ignoring taste. It was just a way to get, and it always failed because of a non-taste thing. It was look or cost or something.
Hmm.
Right. So you went like all the way into the conceit. Like you were like, I am going after, I'm gonna live completely in the metaphor. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But the whole idea was trying to show something old, trying to keep up with new tech and just always being a step behind, not
Mhm.
really getting it.
I mean, it sounds like the not really getting it, the pizzelles and queso.
Mhm.
It's all wrong. It's so good.
Oh, my friend Justin would kill me if he heard those words even came out.
My grandmother towards the end of her life made some, she ran out of ketchup and so she'd made her own ketchup. It was like, what are you doing? You know, I was very much at an age where like it was Heinz 57 or nothing. And I might still be that way, but anyway, her own version of ketchup, it was pretty funny. And I was like, you just don't even care. You don't give a shit. She's like, oh, she was like all pizzelles and queso. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just try it.
Uh,
Oh no. All right, Leo, what happened with you?
It got weird.
What?
That's not unusual though. Um, so I started with being like the unwanted pastry in the case. Like there's, one that's always like a little like mingy, I don't want that. It's like small and crusty and overbaked and blah blah blah. So he's like watching all of these other biscuits be chosen. And he's like so excited to be chosen because he has to be eventually. But because he's there for so long, he realizes that it's actually not a good thing to be chosen. He's like, I literally have the line, over time, the squeals he heard from his brethren started to sound less like delight and more like fear.
mm.
Um, and um, then somebody wants him and he like freaks out and he's like, I gotta get out of here. And then he jumps off the pastry case and he has like a moment of like delight because this is his freedom. And then he falls to the ground and you think that's it, that he's like smushed on the ground, but he's not. He's like, I made it. And then the baker is just so pissed that she picks him up and she squishes him and she throws him in the trash.
Oh,
You know what I thought somebody was going to be like 5 second rule.
Yeah. Actually not a bad idea because the customer keeps saying, she's like, do you want this, are you sure you want this one, like it's the last one we have, and he's like, I don't care, I like them crunchy. So maybe he could be like, nah, 5 second rule and then eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. The one I had the
So
other day was, oh, go ahead.
Natalie, I just don't know that I um that it has any like real life comparison. Like it's not really a metaphor for anything, it just got kind of dark and fucked up.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like dodgeball. It sounds like getting picked for dodgeball, like picked for a team, like pick me, and then you don't get picked, and you're the sad kid with the
Yeah.
skinny and the glasses. I
Yep.
don't know what that's like because I was the chubby kid, but That didn't get picked also. All right, so I stuck with the pies, the red pies and the blue pies. Um, and my red pie had a really uptight crust. Nothing was sneaking out of it. It was a really tight lattice. And then the blueberry crumble couldn't really deal with that crust because like nothing was coming out, nothing bubbled over. Um, and they were just really getting into a conversation when time came up. But the blueberry crumble was obviously kind of a sloppy mess. Um, and the raspberry pie was really questioning whether crumble was even a crust at all. And so things started to like,
I
divide.
love it.
So this is
When you
how the
said when you said a really uptight crust, I was like, God, I work with somebody like
you work with a raspberry,
Oh man, I know that pie so well.
um, so anyway, I don't know what I'll do with it, but it's kind of fun to play around with the POV and see.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to get into metaphor,
Mhm.
that inanimate object. All right, you all. Well, thank you very much
Cool.
for
Thank
coming
you.
to Flash Club. Bill, you are on deck for next week with
Sure. Yeah.
with Kay Ming's story.
Kiming Chang, her story Fox that you can find on Wigleaf.
That's right. And actually, I'm going to put it in the chat right now because I got it. I
It's a
got it.
great story. I'm going to be talking about Fox, but while you're there, you should check out Finger by her as well on Wigleaf because it's a
Okay.
good story. And they're both flash, they're quick reads.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks, Nina.
Okay. Ciao.
Hey.
Bye.